Thank you guys for coming. This is a jam-packed room, so I'm glad you got a seat. So my name is Martin. I'm from Ucommerce, and we are, again, sponsors here at the Umbraco UK Festival, as we are in Sweden, as we are in Australia, as US, so on and so forth. So we've been part of the story of Umbraco for the last 9 years, I guess. The U in Ucommerce is basically Umbraco Commerce. But Nils is not in the room, right? Yeah, we're not allowed to call it that back then. So Ucommerce is Umbraco Commerce. So I'm just going to give you a promise. I'm not going to be talking for 45 minutes. That's simply going to, I mean, I bore myself after 20 minutes or so. So if there's anything, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. If you got questions, we're a nice little group here. So you just, raise up your hand, shout, do whatever, and then we can just do it as a kind of a dialogue. Okay? You all good? So, see if I can get this one to work. Absolutely. So, we just had our Ucommerce Summit a couple of weeks ago. And I know you all guys, you would wanted to be there, but unfortunately you couldn't make it. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of what actually happened in Aarhus a couple of weeks ago, so that you get an understanding of where we are in our business. And then I will jump on to Uccelerate, which is basically the topic for where we are today. And it kind of lines really, really nicely with what's been going on in the conference here and what's happening in Umbraco in general. So, but we'll get to that. Let me just do a quick recap. Oh, we still got people coming in here. Come on down, guys. There's still chairs left here. So, what we did was, obviously we work through partners, just as Umbraco does. We don't do any implementation work ourselves, so we rely on you guys to actually help build up our platform and build up our business. So thank you very much. If you've tried the platform and you contributed, we appreciate that. I like to be able to pay my mortgage and all those kind of things, so thank you very much for that. But we've been working on revamping our partner program, because there's a few things that we would like to have changed. One of them is, for instance, our Ucommerce Masterclass system. Has anyone been on one of our Ucommerce Masterclasses? Hands up. Thank you. Thank you, too. How was it? Amazing. Yeah. Okay, I've got good news for you, because we're terminating it. And the reason we're terminating, because it was a huge success. We had more than 1,000 developers that are now certified in Ucommerce worldwide. So, yay. Only problem was that we're actually certifying developers in 4 different CMSs, because as you might know, we're in Umbraco, Sitefinity, Kentico, and Sitecore. And we have to do it in 3 different time zones, because we have the US, we have Europe, and Australia as a market. And when we need to set people aside to do that, that kind of becomes a tedious thing, and I couldn't convince people to stay up in the middle of the night to do Australian masterclasses anymore, so we've terminated that. But the good news is we've recorded all of what we've done, chopped it up into little bits, and then we built up the Ucommerce Academy. So the Ucommerce Academy is actually on our webpage. It is now with all the training material from Ucommerce for Umbraco, and you can access it. And also, if you're going with a project, it's nice just to be able to go in, see a short video. Oh, this is how they do it. Good. Then move on to it. And of course, it's free, it's accessible, no hold bar. So we've kind of, again, did what we do with Umbraco. We want to share that knowledge and not keep it behind bars and keep it to ourselves. We've also introduced a certification process. That's also online, because obviously we still want to be able to certify people. So if you want to jump on a certification process, then please, please, by all means do. We're starting off this whole new program from the 1st of January. So jump in and get a certification for Ucommerce. It's still good. You can train for yourself, and then it's just the certification bit that will happen online. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So I had a question. I love this picture, by the way. It's really, really good. It's Code Garden, and it's a lot of fun, and everyone was saying they had a great morning. So, but I like to use it as like a backdrop for a question. So what we've faced in Ucommerce these last many years is this question. Who wants support? We all want support, and we want endless amounts of support. I mean, we've been supporting, and I don't want to be racist or anything, but Indians that hardly could spell .net. I mean, it was terrifying the amounts of hours that we put in trying to help people. So we tried to actually turn the tables around a little bit on this one and saying, okay, we've changed our support policy, so from now on, support is a product with UCommerce. It's not a feature of the platform. So we separated those two things. Platform is one thing, support is another thing. So if you're all good by yourself, you know what you're doing, you don't need to get anything from us. If you want our help, we'll be happy to do it, but we will be able to charge you because it's a product that you can then purchase whatever the need that you may have. Does that make sense? Good. Second question, also from the Partner Summit. Who wants leads? Anyone? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I got a few here. No, so we've been working in this business for some years now, and I've been to countless of partner meetings where we've been saying, this is great. We've done this great project. Why don't we do a case study? Why don't we do a webinar? We should have some morning meetings. And for some reason or another, kind of back to the Eisenhower thing from the last presentation, it never really happens. So we kind of started thinking, what can we do to make these things happen? What can we do to actually help improve each other's businesses? Now, Anders from Umbraco is not here right now. Mike is here, but he's not going to tell on him. So what I typically say is Anders' partner, the Gold Partner Program, which I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with, it's a lot of stuff that's trying to pull into one package, and there's one thing that you guys are really looking for, is that spot on the website where you get your leads from. So we took that decision, cutting away through all of that unnecessary stuff and saying, okay, let's try and focus on building business together. So we're going to introduce the UCommerce Lead Generation Program, and it's awesome. So what we're doing is, also in reference to the presentation was earlier, it can be difficult to stand out as an agency, but as a product, as a platform, we do have an advantage. So people will be searching for us. We will be producing a ton of inbound content material that people will reach out, end customer will reach out to us, and then we'll build up this funnel that we can actually sift customers through. And we're looking for partners that are willing to go on that journey with us so that we can start building business together. So we've tried to look at the partner program that we have and focus it narrowly on generating leads together. There's a long story behind this. There's a lot more numbers and stuff. If you're interested, grab a hold of me or Paul, and we can have a talk about how this can have an effect on your partnership and how we work together. We've started in Scandinavia already, so we've signed up a number of Danish and Swedish partners, and we'll be looking to the UK for the next market where we want to expand this into. So grab a hold of me afterwards. We will, of course, also be working with a lot of other stuff in this respect, so you can expect that we will be trying to define you as an agency. Where does the leads fit? We will keep up meetings, etc., etc. So far, we've actually generated 30 customer leads that we've been able to give out to our partners that has helped us in this process, and then we build mutual business. And the interesting thing about this is we're not just giving leads to someone I had lunch with yesterday because I thought he was a nice guy. Now we're really working structured with it, so we define what is your capabilities as an agency, how does that match with some of those leads that we get in, and then we position you all the way into, because we define a lead at the moment where the customer is asking us, will you recommend a partner to us? And that is where the lead comes in, and that's where we want to present you into. Okay? Does this make sense? Good. Then on to the most important thing. Let me introduce Uccelerate. This is e-commerce of tomorrow. This is our vision of what e-commerce should be. You don't believe me? No? Does it make sense? Let me challenge you on this one. It makes perfect sense. Because your customers, my customers today, what are they doing? If you look at e-commerce from a more philosophical point of view, it does a lot of stuff really, really good. You have distribution, you have logistics, you can sell all over the world. But we've done one thing that really hurts us. We've taken the shopkeeper, taken him out of his store. He's not behind the counter anymore. He's sitting at his desk. Maybe he's looking at some dashboards, but he's lost touch with what it is to run an actual store. To us, that is a tragedy. We want to connect that storekeeper back into his store. So let's give me a few examples here. So typical commerce website. How many different product presentations do you see? When you go in there, is it one template, one product page for no matter which product you have? It's just that one product page? It is, isn't it? Look at how many different product presentations or product pages this guy has. It all depends on the features of the product. Is it something that goes good on the counter because it's something that I just buy on, going on my way out of the store? Or is it maybe something that needs a bigger display, like the Heinz symbol? There's a difference. He can work with the elements of his product, and that goes through. Another thing, like if he wants to run a campaign, he puts on a piece of chalk, and then he writes 20% off and puts it there. It takes him 20 seconds. If a digital merchant or an e-commerce manager today wants to run a campaign, how long time do you think that takes? First, you have to set it up. You have to make your banners. You have to check with your ERP people. Can this actually go through? It can take days to create a campaign that took him 20 seconds. We should, as a business, strive to actually make that possible in 20 seconds. I know I'm going to sound sarcastic, but I saw a video the other day on YouTube where there was a guy that explained how easy it was to set up a campaign inside Core Commerce. The YouTube video was 20 minutes. It's kind of like, can we do better? Really? 20 minutes to set up a campaign? So, to me, it's an obvious example of where we can do better. And speaking of psycho, I can't help saying also something like personalization. Personalization is the rave of the commerce business. We should do personalization. We're nowhere near this guy. Whenever a customer came in the door, he knew who they were. He knew their names. He knew who they were married to. He knew their kids' names, how old they were. We don't know anything about our customers when they go on the website. So my claim here is that this guy does commerce a hell of a lot better than we do today. And we need to strive to be anything near him. Does that make sense? So it is, I know it's kind of a bold statement that we're trying to do this, but at the end of the day, this guy over here, we call him Jack. So Jack is, of course, Pop's son. And Jack's ambition is to make sure that he runs around the store and makes sure that everything's okay. So it's like, Pops, there's no prices on these oranges over here. Or Pops, the sun is shining outside. Maybe we should have strawberries on sale. Now that is where I see Ucommerce come into the picture. Ucommerce is not the storekeeper, but Ucommerce should be that software tool that can actually help Pops run his business, can come up with insights that Pops can then take actions upon. So that's where we strive to be. I'm not saying we're there yet, but that's the ambition. Okay? And that's why I really like this one. I saw a tweet coming out from yesterday. So editors are number one, because we need to strive to make our software much more usable and friendly when they're actually working with it. And that goes straight in hand with our whole digital merchant strategy, that the editors or the digital merchants, they are number one. They need to work with delightful tools to make their everyday life better. So, how are we going to go about that? Now that is the big trick, right? PowerPoints are easy. Programming is difficult. So, this is shades. This is a representation of what Ucommerce could be or could look like. So it's a store. It's nice design and all those kind of things. But the real magic behind shades is actually in the background. So, because this is what shades is. So you have Umbraco in the bottom as your CMS. Then you have Ucommerce as your commerce platform. And then we've built a layer in between that we call Uccelerate. So it's a layer where you work with content and commerce elements together to be able to create your website and be able to create these landing pages, campaigns, etc. in a much more easy fashion. So we're taking two rock-solid platforms and then we're giving the user an interface to build up their website. So what it is basically, and this is just the beginning, Uccelerate is the road to the digital merchant. So we've packaged up a lot of those elements and features and stuff that you would see in a regular web store. We see a lot of them. So we put that together and made it a very easy way to work with for the digital merchant. So I'm going to show you a video of this, because I wouldn't dare a live demo in a theater with no internet connection. So this is Umbraco, your homepage. Everything is like you would expect it to be. But then we've added these elements. So this is actually the elements from what you saw before. There's a big hero banner, then we have some grids in there. Matt Belford's not here today. We're basing it on nested content that he was working with. And then some other elements in here, and then you can always add more elements down here. I'm pretty sure there's a pointer in here somewhere, but sorry. So let me just try and start this video. It's going to go a little bit quickly, but it shows how you build up a product category page in basically less than 20 minutes. So you can see we've given the editor some elements to work with, but it's not everything they're allowed to do. But it's some of those things where we see from our commerce experience that this is what they would want to do. So we can add a category in here, and then we can just figure out how many products do I want to have per page, set that up, and then, of course, with Umbraco, quickly showcase how that can look like both, and of course it's fully responsive, etc. And then for us, the most important thing is we wanted to be able to work with content elements in there as well. As I mentioned in the beginning, product pages doesn't need to look the same everywhere. So how do I add these content elements easily and quickly into my product pages? That is really something that we're working with. Good. Does that make sense? So there's a ton more functionality, etc. in there, and I'll be happy to showcase it. But it's just to give you the idea that we're giving these digital merchants a lot of these tools that they would expect to get out of the box and giving them in a way where they have the freedom and flexibility to do some of the work, but not all of the work. So I see some people, now I expect some people will be thinking, are we building a Shopify here? But that's not the case. Because still, this is Umbraco and it's Ucommerce. And we always build things framework first. So there's a lot of these elements that you can take. It's Umbraco templates, document forms, etc. And then you can extend it and build out in the way that you want to. So we're trying to move the starting point. So you're not just starting with a blank canvas, but you have a store that you can showcase to the customer and saying, okay, this is our starting point. Where do you want to go from here? Because all the options are still open, because we're still framework first. And of course, it is designed for Umbraco Cloud. So it is designed as a cloud project, and we can spin up these things instantly. And this is actually something that I think is pretty cool. It works so well and is so easy to do that we're willing to give out free prototypes to any of your customers if you're thinking, hey, maybe this could work for someone. If you want something in a pitch material. And trust me, I've been doing this relatively many times by now. Going through, this is the platform, this is what you want to do. And then at the end of that talk, saying, oh, by the way, I built up your website for you. And I've spun it up on Umbraco Cloud, and you can have the backend credentials here. Knock yourself out. Look at the platform, what can it do for you? And then have the conversation after that. If you can build up something where they all of a sudden can see, hey, This is actually a platform or a tool where I have control over my website and my web store. That is a tremendously strong tool in the pitch process. So if you have any customers now or going forward that would be interested in some kind of commerce, then give us a heads up and we'll build up a POC for you, no charges, and you can bring that to your customer meeting, just as an Easter egg at the end. You know what? Have a look at this. And it works. Good. Any questions so far? All good? Yes.
Does it work with digital products?
Yeah, absolutely. It's still e-commerce behind us. There's no limitations in products or variants or languages or what have you. Good. I've only spent 25 minutes so far. I'm sorry, 5 minutes over, but I'm last 3 slides. Just a little bit about where we are right now as a company. Some of you know we've spent some years working on different CMSs, and that's taken up a lot of our time. So for me, e-commerce 1.0 was when we engaged with Umbraco 9 years ago. e-commerce 2.0 was when we engaged with Sitecore as another CMS. And then came Sitefinity, and then came Kentico. Other way around. Anyway, now e-commerce 3.0 is back to the core. Because we want to make sure that we can succeed with this digital merchant. And I'll be brutally honest with you, the back end of e-commerce is not where it should be. So that's what we're working on right now. So what you will be seeing before Christmas is that we're launching a new personalized dashboard when you get in there. Again, this is not rocket science, but it's in that mindset of we want to make life better for the editor. You know what? We want them to connect them to the store. And this is stats that they can get other places as well. What I really like is this one down here. We're going to set up a feed that constantly tells the digital merchant what's going on in my store. Is a product put in the basket? Is a product being sold? Is someone using a campaign? Do I have missing properties on a product? There will be a continuous stream of data and information for them that they can either choose to respond to and act upon or not. But we're trying to, instead of I know it's just a dashboard, I know, but it's something where we want to connect that digital merchant to his store so that he can actually see that people are walking around inside it, if that makes sense. So that is really that, and the beauty of this is that once we start giving these insights, then the next step is giving them actions. So think about it, this product is missing a picture, put that on. Okay, that's a simple action, click, and I go to that product, I put a picture on. But then you start working more sophisticated with data. These two products are being bought together. Why don't you put up a bundle? Why don't you put up a campaign around that? Start making them better. Because right now, to be honest, our e-commerce business, we're really, really immature. I mean, conversions rates around 2% is the average, or 4%, something like that. We must be able to do better. And it's because, as an industry, we're not more than 20, 30 years old. We don't know what we're doing. But the merchants, we should have more merchants in this business that can focus, instead of focusing on IT and technology, focus on selling products. So this will be launched before Christmas. And then the big thing, and I know my CTO is going to kill me for this, but he's not in the room. And you're not going to tell, right, Paul? So we're revamping the UX and the UI of the entire catalog manager in Q1 because it sucks and it's slow. And right now, it's something that you have to because it's there and it does what it should, but it's not a delightful experience to work in. Put that phone away. But this is something that's going to be delightful to work with. We're going to burn the tree. So it's not going to be a content tree anymore. We're going to make sections that are more easy to overlook and have an experience of. And of course, we're trying to make this as plain, as understandable as possible, instead of a lot of tabs and a lot of subsections, etc. So we're really trying to take this serious. We're trying to focus on really creating a cool product, because if we want to keep up with the Umbracos of the world, we really have to focus on building a greater and better experience for this guy. Thank you very much. "25 minutes. If there's any questions, please reach out to me and Paul afterwards. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for coming down here. That really made my day. Have a good one.